Hello, everyone. Welcome to the call. Again, my name is Senior Consultant Michelle Schaefer. Thank you so much for joining us on your Sunday evening. I know everybody's busy. It's the fall, and there's all kinds of things going on, baseball and soccer, kinds of stuff. So we absolutely appreciate you getting on the call tonight. Make sure you have your calendar out, your list of 10 ready, and your pen and paper handy to take notes. We truly and honestly believe that this is a silver bullet in your business. This Purge call is just a way to put structure in your business and give you the tools that you need to do daily to make sure that you get the things you need to get done every day, the very simple things we need to do every day, 20 to 30 minutes a day, and we just need to make sure we get those done. Make sure you have your calendars open and you're ready to work along with us, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce our host. If you're not familiar with this gentleman, he is an executive consultant in our business. He's been on a 5-star trip. He is also a businessman in his own right. He had a graphics design company that he sold, probably 7 or 8 years ago now for several $1 million. He owns several Dickey's barbecue restaurants. He's a musician by trade. He has a music box company that he also owns, and he is so extraordinarily creative. It's amazing. He's brought us the 3x4 in this fantastic Purge call. And without further ado, I would like to introduce my dear friend and mentor, Mr. Richard Laidler. Richard, are you there? We would have made it.
All righty. Well, with that introduction, I want to meet me as well. Good Lord, that sounded very grand. It sounds like, I really know what I'm doing. Well, this English accent. Actually, I don't know anything, but the English accent makes me sound like I know what I'm doing. And that's all that matters in this life. Well, welcome, guys. 8 o'clock on it's 8:05 now, on Sunday night. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. And give yourself a pat on the back for investing the best hour of your week in your Ambit business, because this preparation is going to set you up. It's basically going to get you going. Without preparation, things don't get done, especially in our business, because we don't have somebody watching over us like a boss. When we have a job and we have school and this type of thing, things get done because we kind of have to. And if we don't, someone's going to, for me, it was a ruler across the knuckles. And that was just my job, let alone school. But it was back in the olden days when everything was in black and white. You young folks wouldn't remember that. But to all you folks who are over 45 or over 50, you'll remember what it was like. But anyway, yes, again, thank you very much for getting on the call tonight. As Michelle was saying, we believe this Purge call is very, very specific. It's not about a motivation. It's not about bringing a guest on who's going to, tell their story and this type of thing. This is basically a real call, R-E-A-L, real. We try to get totally real with you in what you need to do in your business. And I get rid of all the sugarcoating. I sometimes kind of tell you how it is. I'm smiling as I say it, so I don't mean it meanly, but you got to kind of hear it. You got to kind of hear it as it is. And at the end of the day, you must treat your Ambit business with the same respect as you treat your job or you treat education. Because if you don't, the chances of you succeeding are very, very, very heavily weighted against you. If you don't, here's some stuff without some sugarcoating, okay? If you don't plan your business, if you don't do something in your business every day, I would think about maybe not doing it. That sounds really mean. But if you don't put the effort, kind of like a structure into your business, even if it's a simple structure, very light, 5 or 10 minutes a day. If you don't have some kind of structure in your business, a couple of things are going to happen. First of all, you're not going to find success unless you're just dead lucky and you just happen to bump into someone who's going to kill it in the business. But there's something else that's going to happen too. You're going to feel bad about it as well. If you're not doing it, you should be, and you'll be feeling bad about it. And so the best thing to do is if you're not going to put structure in your business, if you're only going to try this, I would say don't do it. Turn the websites off, because $25 will be better put into something else, because you're not going to find the success that you want. Sounds kind of tough, but it kind of is how it is. And if it's ever different than that, then it would be 1 in 10,000 people that found the luck in that. So I'm assuming that everybody of course, there's no one on this call. Of course, everybody in this call is committed. Everybody on this call wants to put structure in their business. And that's what this call is all about, is about putting structure in your business. And basically what we do is the fundamental kind of spinal cord of our business, off which everything else works, is your written list and the structure in that written list. It sounds kind of boring whenever I talk about that, but it's not. It's just your kind of the fulcrum of the business, that kind of where you work from, and it's where you proactively offer people the opportunity to have a look at what you're doing. When we opened up our restaurants, I called my friends and said, hey guys, try the food at the Dickie's Barbecue. We'd love you to come and try it out, check the ambiance, and tell your friends. And if you like it, do tell your friends. And that's very much the same thing what we're doing in this business. We're not asking anybody on that written list to join. So those of you who are writing written lists thinking, he'll do it, he won't do it, she'll do it, don't. Treat it just like you've opened a restaurant. Everybody will eat food. Everybody wants to see what we're doing on this particular business. Some will react differently than others. I get that, but we want to make sure everybody looks at it. So our written list is basically the central core of what we're doing, but only in that it is what is the basis of the structure. Because if you've got your written list, we're scoring it using the Erica system, which is basically giving priorities. If you're not sure what the Erica system is, I'm sure your upline or crossline will know what it is. I don't have time to explain it in full detail on this call because I want to get into something in a second. But we score it using the Erica system, which means that all the good people on your list go to the top, and we like that. They are going to get a call. Everyone on the list is going to get a call. It just means that the good people are getting called first. Then the people, the top 10 names on your list, we're going to pull those down. We're going to put some invites together, which is what we're going to do on the call today with the victim or my guest. And you're going to copy what we're doing. You're going to listen in like voyeurs listening into someone else's conversation. And you're just going to, when you hear something that's relevant to you, a brother, an uncle, a doctor, a lawyer, the next door neighbor, or a blue collar worker, an executive, a business owner, when you hear an invite that's relevant to someone on your list, then copy it. And that's the purpose of what we're doing, which is why you need the pen and paper. Once you've got our top 10 names, we want you to do 2 invites a day, even if it takes 5 or 6 calls for different people. The first person on your list, the second person on your list, third person on your list are all voicemails. So you get to the 4th person on the list. We want to try and make sure we get 2 invites a day and an accountability call a day. And that's to your cross-line accountability partner, your upline, your sponsor, whoever it is. But that person needs to kind of take the place that your boss does. Not because they are your boss, but because you need to be accountable to them, that they're waiting for you to give them a call about the 2 invites you made that day. So super important that we do that. 10 names from your list, from the top 10 names, 2 calls a day, 1 accountability call, Monday through Friday, and then next Sunday we purge the list. And we go through the list, and the people who were yeses, we plug them into the same system. We get them in on this call and the other team trainings that we do. The maybes, we get them verified by taking them to a business presentation or sending them a Success from Home magazine or having them look at a YouTube video of one of the Ambition keynote speeches from Jerry Thompson or Chris Chambliss. I've started using those a little bit more recently. Fantastic to give someone a real kind of vision of just how big this company is. So they get them validated, and it gets them to a yes or a no. We're not trying to convince anyone. If it means it gets them to a no, that's better than a maybe. And then those that are no's, we just put them on our drip list. The only people that are true no's are people I don't want in my business, are people you don't want in your business because they're just negative. They're just dream stealers. They're just people you don't want around. So they're the only people that are truly going to be off your list. Everybody else is going to get a call back in 3 to 6 months because things change. Things change in your life. Things change in Ambit. And things change in their life, and you never know when the right time is going to be. And so that's how we do it. That's our system, and that's what we do. And this Purge call is a regular weekly Sunday night call that we do to give you something to plug into, because you may or may not have that accountability partner. You may or may not have that upline to help you. And so we put this call together to help you, to plug in. So you could be listening to this call as either side of the accountability. You could be the new MC or the RC that is getting on and with their top 10 list, or you could be the accountability partner. And the accountability partner is just as important that you listen to this call as well to see how I deal with the guests on the call when they have a bad day, or someone tells them to get lost, or someone to tell them these things don't work, it's a pyramid scheme, or congratulate them when they get an appointment, or congratulate them when they get a new consultant. You're there as a coach, as someone to build them back up if they just had a little bit of a bad day or whatever, and just say, okay, well, let's get going again tomorrow, and we'll be good to go. So that's kind of what we're doing on this call, and that's what you're taking notes on as we go through. Now, tonight's a little bit different. I want to go across to actually getting someone on the call who's actually going to be my victim. But here's the deal. The person who was going to be my victim on the call last minute was unable to do it. And so I thought, what am I going to do? I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But what I also realized is that about 80% of the people on this call are new. And what I have is I have recordings of some of the best purge calls that we've had in the past. And one of the best ones we've ever had was with regional consultant Beth Newell. It was probably the most requested one for listening to the recordings, as well as like Christy Meck and Dana Hetter, and we'll probably be repeating those calls as well as some other ones that were really, really good. Javier's first call also was really good, Javier Heredia. As well as, with Michelle, she did one as well, our MC. John West did one, who's an EC in our business and was still doing it. It was really great, and they're there to use in a circumstance like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play the recording with myself and Beth, and it'll be brand new to the majority of you. The call tonight and all the accountability calls are all recorded, so it's going to be just the same as if it's a normal call. So I'm going to switch it across, and guys, text me to make sure the volume is good enough for you. I've asked Michelle to make sure we're going to do that, but I'm going to hit play on that. And if you want to ask questions as we go through, I'll be able to stop it real quick and answer the question or whatever it is. But trust me, this is probably one of the best purge calls we've ever had. For those of you who know Beth Newell, she is just the loveliest person on the planet. She's absolutely lovely. She's young, enthusiastic, a great person, will do anything to help. She's a regional consultant in the business. So give me just a couple of seconds. I'm going to hit play, and we're just going to get going. And then let me know if you can hear it okay. So hold on just 1 second to get to her. I'm going to bring this young lady onto the call. She's a regional consultant in the business. Here we go. She's always at the business presentations and the team and the team trainings and this type of thing. She also has free energy in the business, and she has a fantastic story, which I'm going to ask her to share for about a minute or two before we get into actually the details of the call, of her 10 names and this type of thing. But first of all, I'm very happy to have Beth Newell on the call. Beth, are you there?
Well, hello, Mr. Richard. How are you doing?
Now, are you English or are you American?
Oh, I don't know. Depends on the day.
And it depends on how good, because sometimes you slip a little bit. Sometimes you sound a little Australian. Sometimes you could have me convinced.
I'm a bit of a mutt, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Beth, you have a fantastic story, which I would really like you to kind of share. I want people to know who you are, a little bit about who you are, kind of, what age group you're in. I don't even know how old you are because you're a lady, and I certainly wouldn't ask that, but kind of the age group you're in, what you do for a living, so people can sit there and go, okay, that's like me, or she's busier than me, or not as busy as me, just to kind of, so it fits. But also, if you could also share a little bit about Paul and about how Ambit really helped with Paul's situation and stuff. If you could just share that, would be fantastic. I'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me on this call. I can't tell you what a blessing this has been. I was informed of this call about 2 weeks ago, actually, and have just been blown away by the amazing information and how applicable it is. So I'm just blessed to be a part of it. But a little brief background on me. I graduated in 2010 with a degree in business marketing. Went into the traditional workplace, realized I'm really allergic to workplace politics, honestly. So I quit that. I went back to school and became a personal trainer. I train triathletes to this day, actually, and I love it, but I'm constantly trading my time for money. So if my clients want to work out at 5 a.m., that's where I am. And, so although I love what I do, about a year and a half ago, my boyfriend at the time, his name was Paul, 7 feet tall. He was my main man. He was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And that was when I really developed a why for the business. Because before that, I started my business, quote unquote, really just paid my $429, which is what I had to freaking pay. So paid that, got started. but didn't really have a strong enough reason as to why I wanted to put this structure in my life. And when Paul was diagnosed, we basically lived in hospitals for about a year on and off. We were at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, and then finally Baylor in Dallas for about 6 months straight. And so while I was in the hospital, I was living off of savings, watching my savings account dwindle, and I would literally make Ambit phone calls in the bathroom attached to his room because I was a live-in caretaker basically at the hospital with him. The amazing thing I was able to witness, though, is Paul had built his business to the point and had some different accounts coming in that it was covering all of his bills on a monthly basis. And I can't tell you what a blessing that is. With everything else going haywire, the fact that he could maintain that part of his life. He didn't lose his house. He didn't lose his truck. He was able to sit there in his hospital bed and pay his bills because the residual that Ambit was paying. And that just blew my mind. So he unfortunately did pass away about a year ago, but I have not forgotten how important having residual income is. I am 28 years old. I'm not ashamed to say it, and living in Dallas for the last year and a half or so. Honestly, had to start all over again, but it's been almost more of a blessing because when people know that you're new to an area, it's a great conversation starter. So that's kind of my background real quickly and why I love Ambit.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic? I know Richard and Wade always talks about digging your well before you actually need it, and I love Paul too. He was a great friend of mine. We worked together in Ambit, and he said he gave me permission. He said, Richard, I give you permission to call me in the morning and to cuss at me to get going, to get working and stuff. So we had a fantastic relationship. That sounds just like Paul. He said, call me in the morning, and he said, shout at me. Well, I don't know if I can do that, but isn't that fantastic? I mean, obviously it's tragic that eventually he did pass away, but life comes at you unexpectedly like that, and to have a business that can pay all your bills, whether you're working or not, is what else could do that? His job couldn't do that. I mean, so that's fantastic. So I appreciate you sharing that story. I know it's very near and dear to your heart, and that's fantastic. But thanks for letting us know about you. I didn't know you were as old as 28. I think you were more like 22, 23. But hey,
I'm over the hill, buddy.
Trust me, if you're over the hill, I'm sagging down the mountains on the other side, down to the.
You're in the valley. Okay.
I'm in the valley down, where the dinosaurs are dying and stuff. But okay, excuse me. Okay, well again, great. Thanks for getting on the call, and I do want to dive straight into the call to get as many invites done as possible. So let's. My first question to you is: do you have a written list?
I do.
Do you want to be senior consultant by ambition?
Yes, sir. It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, well let's dive straight on in. Now, usually I try to get a little bit of an overview of the list before we start this, so that I can make sure that we're efficient and stuff. But with the last minute, John not being able to make it and you stepping up, which thank you for that, by the way. I mean, it was literally a couple of hours before the call, and you were like, I'll do it, which was awesome. I haven't seen the names. I don't know anything. So we're going to dive into this cold, but we're going to stick to the same rules, and they apply to pretty much every name. I've never had a situation where I don't know how to invite someone. We eventually get to it. So let's start with, first of all, could you just give me the first names, the 10 first names, not second names as well, but just the first 10 names in a row, just like, Sharon, John, Brian, blah, blah, blah. So I've got it on the notes here.
Yep. First name is Vered, V-E-R-E-D.
Okay.
Second name is Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Third is Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth is Dania.
Okay.
Fifth is Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
Sixth is Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Seventh is Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Eighth is Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Ninth is Keith.
How do you spell that?
Keith, K-E-I-T-H.
Okay, so it sounded like I said Yakis or something, but trust me, it's my old ears. You see, when you get to my age.
It's the Yankee accent. You don't understand.
That's exactly what it is. Either that or the fact that I am so old, the ear is falling off the side of my head. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 9, and then the last one.
Bill.
still. Okay. All right. Well, let's dive straight in with Vered.
Okay. Vered, I actually literally just met her today. She is from the Mediterranean region. She's part Romanian. She came in. I run a triathlon store in Dallas, actually. And so I was working today, and she came in to buy a bike. And when people come into the store, they basically get their whole life story most of the time.
Of course.
She has 3 kids. Her husband has a full-time job. She's a part-time gymnastics judge. Her background is in gymnastics in Romania. And she was very honest about the fact that she's looking for something here. Her kids are now kind of settling into what they're doing, getting carpool, so she has a little bit more time, and really wants a flexible, she emphasized, part-time business. So I got her number and asked to call her tomorrow. She knows nothing about it or anything, just gave me her number. So she was my first one.
So bearing in mind, I always want to kind of hear, I don't want to assume I just know the best way, so I'd be interested to hear, how would you approach her?
Yeah, so based on I'm going to base it, on the criteria. I've been listening to the calls and trying to tweak, but basically just, calling her and saying hello, just following up. I know we chatted yesterday and shared with me a little bit about your awesome family and how you're looking for something additional. And I briefly mentioned that I worked with a part-time based business. So just wanted to set up a time. I'm in the process of heading into the store right now, but just wanted to see if tonight would be a good time or if tomorrow would be better.
Yeah, that's perfect. Because I was a little concerned when you first started because you didn't sound in a hurry, but you then brought that in afterwards, which was fine. Most important thing is to be in a hurry, just in case she says, well, can you tell me a little bit about it?
Gotcha.
Again, this is what we want to avoid. Everybody in the call, knows that we want to avoid what we call the valley of death, which is when you make the invite and someone says, well, what is it? And then, it's even if you're well versed in the business, it's a very difficult thing to do, and it's an absolute huge no-no. For every single reason. Most of all, it just if you're new, it's very difficult to do, and it makes the job unpleasant. But even more importantly than that, it's just not duplicatable. So, absolutely right. Be in a hurry. She's already given you. She kind of fell into your lap a little bit there, which is great. That happens. I had one. I was up at Lowe's 2 days ago, and I went to get a healthy hot dog, if there is such one of those things. And the guy serving the hot dogs was awesome. He's a businessman. He has a number of these deals. And I said, I kind of prompted some pain from him. And he's like, yeah, I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Kind of fell in my lap. And I said, well, I'm in the food industry as well. I've got to get back to the office right now, but in my particular case, I just said, do you keep your options open so you can get some time back? And he's like, oh my God, you can't believe it. I'm absolutely looking. So every now and again, you get people who are fall in your lap, and this is a great one. I think is absolutely perfect. She's already given you a need. She knows you have something, and you're just going to arrange a time. You were very intentional about your time. You gave her 2 options. So that's exactly what I would do. But here's the thing. Please do write your invite down. Even as good as you are, Beth, I know you're very eloquent. You're very good. You're also not. I will be nice to you every now and again, Beth.
I'm gonna record this and write it down.
I know I am the Gordon Ramsay to some people, where I'm kind of like, I'm not mean, but I'm pretty direct. But no, this, it's important that people learn. Please do write it down, because if ever you get lost, first of all, it's duplicatable. If you write it down, then your team will write it down. Just have it down there, even if it's simple, so that you can have it there as a crutch, just to remind you what you're doing. You're just arranging the times and this type of thing. So please do write it down. So have her name, have the invitation next to it, and be ready for that. But other than that, I think that's perfect.
Beautiful. Okay.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So let's move on to. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I think that's excellent. I like the writing it down and being in a hurry. I'll make sure that I include that a little bit more.
Yeah, and again, for those of you who are on the call, please also, every invite you do, write it down. It's just very comforting. You can start your week with a sheet of paper with names, invitations written down. It's wonderful for you as a crutch, even if you're pretty eloquent. you can sometimes get dragged into talking too much. Last week we had, not last week, a couple of weeks ago, when Desiree was on the call, she was a self-admitted chatter. And she says, if I'm a little nervous, I get to chatting too much. And she said, for her, writing it down was an absolute godsend. So please, everybody, do write your invites down. It gives you, as I say, that structure and that crutch. But more important than anything else, it's totally duplicatable for those new people who are joining your business. Okay, let's move on to Travis.
Travis, okay. So Travis is a triathlete who comes into our shop. Honestly, the kindest person you'll ever meet. He and his wife are absolutely adorable. He was working for a very big real estate company and recently just literally quit his job. He's a guy who searches for purpose, and I think he's in a little bit of an early life crisis and not certain. He quit his job, is looking for something additional. He's very open with me about that part. And I made mention to the fact that I have a part-time business, and I do work a couple different jobs at this point. I'm transitioning into another full-time. So he couldn't believe that I had something part-time because all he sees is me at the store all the time. But just asked if he would be open to me giving him a call. I try to be very respectful when they're clients that I don't, overstep, but he was open to that. So I just need to make the contact and set it up.
That's actually a little bit of a coaching opportunity right there. If you are someone who is in a similar situation to Beth, where you are being paid by someone else to do a job, please be respectful of your job and of your boss. He is paying for your time, and for you to there's always going to be opportunities come up during the day, but please be respectful of your boss. Obviously, we don't want you to get in trouble, but also integrity is very important. We don't want to be stealing from our boss. That's kind of a strong word, and I don't mean to be strong like that, but having him pay you to run your Ambit business. Please be respectful of the job you're doing, and you're absolutely right, Beth, to say, drop a couple of little hints, but your real invite, you need to, you're going to need to give him a call, so let's talk about how. When you call him, what will you say to him, do you think? What would be your approach to that?
Well, obviously, I'm going to be in a hurry. So.
Really? That's a great idea.
I know.
Where did you get that?
It's great. Mind blowing. I'm going to call and say, hey, Travis, this is Beth. Hey, listen, I'm a little bit in a hurry right now, but I wanted to give you a buzz. I know we chatted the other day at the shop about your job transition and the fact that I work with a part-time business. May or may not be something for you, but I'd love for you to take a look and give me your thoughts. But I just don't know what your schedule looks like. So would tonight be good, or would tomorrow afternoon be better for you?
Great. Yeah, you're hitting on all the points there. I felt it. I just felt it wasn't quite direct enough. But let's cover that real quick. First of all, you were in a hurry. Point number one is be in a hurry. I'm going to go through this for people who are on the call regularly. You'll always hear me talking about this. Number one, be in a hurry. Number two, your why. You stated your why. You said, he's looking right now, and you have something that you're doing as well because you're moving across from 2 jobs to 1 job or whatever you're doing there. There was no real hook in there. Which is probably what was missing. You did have it may or may not be your thing, which is great. That's number 4. So number 1, be in a hurry. Number 2, your why or their why. Number 3, a hook. Number 4, it may or may not be your cup of tea. And the number 5, you did do well, which was the being intentional about the time. Okay. So let's have a look at that again. First of all, listen, I'm in a bit of a hurry right now. That's great. But last time we spoke about something along the lines of, last time we spoke, I know you'd quit your job, or you moved out of the real estate business that you were in and that you were looking. And I just wanted to, I have an option that may be an option for you. It's proving to be very successful for me. There's the hook. It may or may not be your thing, but we really should take the time so you can take a look. So I think there needs to be a little bit of excitement in there that it's being successful for you. And you're busy. He knows you're busy. So, again, being in the hurry, again, you know his situation better than I do, so I'm kind of doing this cold. But I know last time we spoke, I thought about you today. No, because you're going to call him back. Last time we spoke, you mentioned that you just got out the real estate business and you are looking right now. Well, obviously you're looking at options, and I do have an option that's really, really working well for me. You know that I have this part-time business. It may or may not be your thing, but you should really take a look. Are you going to be free after work tonight, or whatever your close down is? So it's very similar to what you were doing. It's just a tiny bit more postured.
Yeah,
a little bit
like
posture to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
And honestly,
right.
That's something that I've struggled with. I don't want to come across as because I'm a very enthusiastic person, but I definitely don't ever want my enthusiasm to seem fake or not genuine. And so I think sometimes I err on the side of not being excited enough, even though Ambit's the one thing in my life that I'm super pumped about. But I don't want to scare people off. Does that make sense?
That makes complete sense to me. I know when I was your age, like you, I was super excited, and I tended to worry that people would think I'm being obsequious or too much. I think the word is really just sincerity. You and I, we're very often flippant with each other and we're teasing each other and this type of thing, but every now and again, there's things we're serious about and we talk about it, and you are very sincere. I think you're probably a little hard on yourself about that. So what we're talking about here is being being excited about the business. There's nothing wrong with that. The way you're going to avoid being overly excited is because you've written your invite down, which means you're not going to talk too much. Usually overexcited means talking too much. So write it down. Be intentional about it. Be excited about the business. It's working really, really well for me. In fact, you could even say it's working so well, I'm going to be able to quit my job soon. You can even add something like that in there. That's part of the hook. Sometimes you don't want to pull on the hook too hard because you'll rip it out the fish's mouth. But so you'll know better with this guy. But I would definitely go along the routes that you're talking about. I understand your concern. I know there'll be some people on the call. Some people will be thinking, well, I'm not excited enough, and some people will be thinking I'm overexcited. The solution to that is writing your invite down. Absolutely, it keeps you focused, and your posture is going to come from practice. But you'll be absolutely fine. He won't think you're overly excited, but you do need to be excited.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Any other questions on that?
Nope, that's awesome. Thank you.
Do you agree with that?
I totally 100% agree.
Hey, who's that on the line? Sorry, we've got a cross line. Someone English came on the line.
Oh, you understood that.
That's great. Can you get off the line, please? I'm speaking to my good friend Beth here, the American girl. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. All right, moving along. Stop. Here we go.
All right, Nick. Let's talk about Nick.
Nicholas. So Nick recently moved here from Alaska. I think, goodness gracious, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. He is working for a real estate investment firm. I met him through the triathlon company. I coached him actually in our group training program. And he is one of the most personable people I've ever met. So he makes, even though he hasn't been in Dallas very, very long, even every time he's at the shop, he knows everyone by the time he leaves. And so just a very personal person naturally, and very entrepreneurial minded. I mean, I talked with him while he was looking for jobs, very open to new industries and learning new crafts. So I just feel like he's a very open-minded individual.
Okay, so what are your thoughts? How do you think you'd approach this guy?
So I think that I need to approach him more so because he hasn't necessarily identified a need for finances, but we've talked about different business ideas. So I'd like to approach him more from getting his perspective on a business that I'm working with. I think you can tell me if that's the wrong way to go. But just to tell him, hey, listen, I'm in a hurry right now, but I wanted to touch base with you briefly. I know that, you're a person that leaves his options open for additional ways of making income, and I'm working with a part-time business that's actually going to allow me to leave my job, go part-time coaching, because of the success I'm having with it. And I'd love to get your feedback on what I'm doing. May or may not be something for you, but would love to get your thoughts. I just didn't know if tonight would be a good time or if tomorrow would be better.
Awesome. Okay, that's really good. You hit all the parts, and you're basically going for I need your opinion approach, and I like that. As you were talking to me, it felt like I wanted to give him a direct approach because you did nothing but compliment him. When you were describing him, you were complimenting him all the time. And I might even be thinking, you know what, going along the lines of, listen, I'm just about to get on a conference call right now, but I've been meaning to call you. I've been. Does he know you have a part-time business or not?
I've mentioned it in passing, and he went to ask something about it, and I told him because we were somewhere else, and I told him we'd chat about it later.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. So I would say, hey, listen, I'm just about to get on a conference call right now, but I've been meaning to call you. I've mentioned about a business that I have I'm running on the side. Well, it's growing incredibly quickly in the Dallas area. There's the hook. Excitement. It's growing incredibly, and I'm looking. I need to find a couple of leaders to work with me. Let me ask you a question. If it didn't encroach on your, I don't know if I would say that. I'd probably just be direct and say, would you be open to take a look? Because I would love you to consider doing this with me. I think, bearing in mind how much you've complimented him, and you can even bring the compliments in if you want to. Listen, I'm just about to get onto a conference call, but I've been meaning to call you. Whenever we get together, you're always very personable. You're obviously very entrepreneurial. Well, that part-time business that I've been working with, it's growing like crazy in Dallas, and we need people like you. We could be really direct and complimentary, and you'll be flattered. I'd love you to look at what I'm doing to see if it's your cup of tea or not. It may or may not be. But with the type of personality that you are, the entrepreneurial spirit that you have, I think it would be a great fit. What are you doing tomorrow night?
Okay.
So really kind of postured. Okay. This call is being recorded, by the way, because I had a couple of different approaches in there, and I preferred the second one. It's a little bit more postured and direct and complimentary to him. But I would go direct with him. I wouldn't ask his opinion. How old is this guy?
He's 30.
Yeah, so he's your age. So it's not if you're talking to someone my age. Mm-hmm. I'm not an ageist person, but sometimes there is that thing out there as far as age is concerned. Maybe you would ask me for an opinion. Whereas a guy your own age, young like you, go-getter, entrepreneurial, I would compliment the crap out of him.
Okay.
Like you genuinely did, and it is genuine. And I would say the business is growing incredibly well in this area, and we're looking for people exactly like you. We need people to help lead the charge in this area. And I want you to take a look at what we're doing. Really intentional. I want you to take a look. Not even do you keep your options open for money. That isn't an invite we have, but with this guy, I'd be direct. You've just told him how great he is. I want you to take a look at what we're doing. I'm not sure if it'll be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. But I want you to take a look. Are you going to be free tomorrow after work or whatever? Again, tying down that particular time. Be direct with that guy. I'd love to see how you get on with that. And I think you do it really well.
Awesome. Okay.
And I think also knowing you, and I know you're super confident in this type of thing, but sometimes you may question yourself on this. Have a picture Chris Chambliss in your mind and pick up 20 seconds of courage. Really rehearse that. Get that invitation really nailed down. Every single word, perfectly right. Get 20 seconds of courage and be direct with him and compliment him. You'd love him to be a business partner. Love him to take a look at what you're doing. May or may not be your thing. Take it away. Again, nice posturing. But I want you to take a look. When are you going to be free? I think a direct one would be really good for him.
Okay.
Us guys, we have our egos. We want to be complimented.
Oh, Lord. Maybe that's what I'm locally opposed to. All right, next. Dania.
Yeah.
So Dania is a client of mine. She has become a close friend now. She is a trained lawyer. She's been working for a school district, actually, and was recently laid off from her job. So I know she's looking for something, just very bubbly, excited, very sharp individual. Her mother is currently battling cancer, so that's kind of a connection that we have that we've talked a lot about. And she knows that I have a part-time business. She's very into personal development, too, which is another thing that strikes me. Her brain is kind of already geared towards that. But, she's the next one I'd like to.
You know some awesome people. Everybody you've got so far are really awesome people. Okay, this one screams out a particular invite to me, but which way would you go, do you think?
Oh, geez. Since she's become more of a friend, I think I can be more direct with her and just let her know, the person business that I've mentioned recently, may or may not be a fit for you, but I'd love for you to take a look to see if it might be a blessing to your family, especially during this period of time where you're wanting to spend more time with your mom, but also need the finances to continue coming in.
Yeah, and that you could even include, probably more in the presentation about how you were able to spend time with Paul because of the business. But I don't think that would come into the invite. But I would go along the lines of, hey, listen, Dania, I'm just about to whatever you're going to be doing. As I remember last time we were talking, or I know you've been laid off recently. Well, does she know you have an Ambit business? I'm sure she does if she's your friend.
She knows I have a part-time business. I don't talk to her about it a lot.
Ambit? Does she know Ambit?
Correct. No.
She doesn't. Okay. I would say, listen, I'm just about to whatever it is, but I know you've been laid off recently, and I've been meaning to call you because the part-time business that I have has really been working very, very well for me. And it may work for you, especially with the situation with your mum. It's something you can do where you can be making money, but also have time for your mum. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, and I understand that, and that's fine. We're good friends. I certainly don't want anything like this to get in the way. But are you free for coffee tomorrow lunchtime?
Okay.
Real nice, real gentle, friendly. You're addressing her why. So you're in a hurry. You addressed her why. She's been laid off. You also addressed a second why, the fact she needs to have time with her mum.
Okay.
You have something that's really working very well for you, and you'd like her to take a look because it may be able to, be something that she can be doing to be making money while she's looking for another job or to have time with her mum. We don't need to be too wordy on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get together for coffee. Really, again, intentional. When you get to the date, be intentional. Not let's get together sometime this weekend, but let's get together for lunch, for coffee tomorrow, 3:00. Are you available?
Okay.
That type of thing. Very specific on what, where, when, because that's people want that. People actually want to be told what to do subconsciously. So I would go with a traditional invite. Be yourself, of course, which overrides all the other rules. Mm-hmm. Be in a hurry. Use her why of being laid off recently, and she's looking for more time to be with her mum while her mum is struggling with cancer. I have a part-time business, and it's really working so well for me. It may be something that will work for you too. I don't know if it'll be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. But let's get together for coffee at 3 tomorrow afternoon. And by the little place, by the such and such and such. Really, you're already assuming she's going to say yes. It's very intentional in leading her towards the coffee. Make sense?
Makes sense. Perfect.
Cool. All right.
Perfect.
Let's move on to the next one.
Okay. Next one is Carlos. He was a swim client of mine while he was training. He's a Purple Heart veteran. He was an IED, took him out when he was serving. But an amazing guy, super strong overcomer. He has 2 kids. He's recently divorced and is currently going back to school. Actually, the military's been paying for that, but I know that he's looking for something additional in his life. And so from that perspective, I know he has a huge sphere of influence and just an inspiration to a lot of people. So I think from that perspective, he would be awesome. Okay,
so how would you invite him?
So I haven't mentioned anything about the business to him. I know about the financial needs because I've worked with him through that. He's been a pro bono client of mine. Just to say, hey, Carlos, listen, I'm in a hurry right now. We haven't chatted in a couple weeks, but I work with, I know you've mentioned looking for some additional ways of needing to make some income, especially with your limitations. And I work with a part-time business that has really started to become very successful for me and been a huge blessing where I can actually put more time into it and, limit the time that I put into coaching. It may or may not be something for you, but I'd love for you to take a look and see if it might be a good fit for you.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. Again, it's pretty obvious. He's got pretty strong whys. Mm-hmm. I might say, hey, I know you're looking at options right now, and this is just another option I'd like you to take a look at. It's working really well for me. There's the hook. I know you're looking at options right now, and I'd like to just add this is one of your options, so it's gentle. It's really working very well for me. There's the hook. Obviously, with all options, we don't know which one's going to work for us. It may or may not be your cup of tea. But what are you doing for dinner tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening? Yeah, that's a nice, simple one. Again, make sure you've got these all written down. Do you have any questions on that?
I don't think. Oh, I do have one overall question. So, oftentimes I have to, because of scheduling and because of the fact that I work a lot of hours throughout the day, I do have trouble meeting people personally unless we can meet pretty close to where I work. Is it not such a good thing to do? I do a lot of my presentations over the phone, honestly, for the first one, to expose them to it, and then tend to do a follow-up in person after that if they show an interest.
Absolutely, no problem.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I say let's meet for coffee, just because that's something I'm saying. But you could say, are you going to be by your computer at 7 tonight? That's perfectly, that's just as legitimate. Again, but the most important thing is the intentionality. When are you next going to be by your computer? Are you going to be by your computer by about 7 tonight? Or what time are you getting home tonight? Very intentional, very direct questions.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we're 5 minutes to 9, so I'm going to thank you for getting on. We've only got 5 invites. Is it 5 invites done so far? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. We'll do the other invites during the week on the accountability calls, which are all being recorded, so everybody will be able to get access to them once I've got somewhere to put them. But I'm going to say goodnight to you just for now, Beth, and we'll be talking obviously during the week. Thank you very much for getting on the call.
Thank you so much, Richard. Appreciate it.
All right, no problem. All right, so for you lot out there who are listening in, and I'm going to say you lot because I ain't never going to say y'all. Oh my God, that was terrible. Okay. So here's what I want to do. We've got 4 minutes. All right. We're going to have the national call coming up very shortly. So I'm going to give you that number so we get that done and out of the way. National call with Brian McClure. He's going to be, I was chatting with him earlier on, he's going to be the guest on his own call tonight, probably talking about his new training, the new paradigm. So please get on that call. It's wonderful information, wonderful news, especially with the new promotion. But for those of you who are now planning your week, hopefully you are sitting there with your 10 names. Continue to work and make sure you get all your 10 invitations done. And again, please make sure they're written down. Remember, your success is going to be down to 2 things. Number 1 is the structure, and that's a sheet of paper with 10 names and 10 invites written down next to them. And the discipline to make sure you do the 2 invites a day. That's half of the structure. The other half is the accountability. Please make sure that you get with your sponsor or your accountability partner or your accountability buddy. Accountability buddy. If anybody on here knows what movie that's from, please text me because my son Max says it's from a movie, but it made me chuckle. Please get with someone and make sure you do those calls because your success, the silver bullet is twofold. Number 1 is the structure, the environment, which is this call, the 2 calls a day, and next Sunday. But the second half is the accountability call. It's only 10 minutes. It's going through the invites that you did and making sure that you know how to follow up with them correctly. And that's all you need to do. If you do that week by week by week, you will get your 3 consultants. We'll help them get their 4 customers. Plug those 3 same people into the same system that we have Sunday to Sunday, and they will get their 3. And so on, and they will get their 3, and they will get their 3. There's no magic to what we do. Everyone's been looking for magic for the longest time. So many people keep going to all the trainings, hoping to hear that one thing. Well, with all modesty aside, and this is, I'm not claiming any credit for this, but this is the silver bullet. The silver bullet is persistent, consistent effort over time, but all it needed was someone to tell me, well, what does that mean? Monday morning, what do I do? I'm going to make Ambit a little job for you for a little while, and I'm not going to apologize for you for saying that. It's 30 to 40 minutes a day, and yes, it is a job until you're financially free. When you're financially free, then you can have your open schedule. But I promise you, if you do this Sunday to Sunday call, if you do the 2 calls in the morning, 2 invites in the morning, you do the accountability call at the end of the day, go to a business presentation, get on the team call, then I promise you, you will become SC by ambition. So please, please plug into this and make sure that it happens. Okay, as far as the team dinner is concerned this Wednesday, again, that's going to be at the Texas Landing Chapel.
All right, well, we're getting a little irrelevant now.
All right, guys, well, give me a thumbs up if you like that. It was great to sit back and listen to that again. What a great call that was. You know, things have obviously fine-tuned a little bit more since we've done that, but that was a really, really good live call with Beth there, and we got all the accountability calls done. So during the week, I'm going to be, thanks, Dee. During the week, I will be posting all of the accountability calls just as I would, as I do on all of the other weeks. So I just wanted to, I thought that's a good idea. I think every now and again, because we had some fantastic calls back in the early days of the Purge call. It's over a year old now. And I would like to replay some of them because some of them are so great. And I think it's a good opportunity. And I get a chance to sit back and listen again and make notes about how I'm improving things as well. So that's great. All right, well, we're at 8:54. We've got plenty of time to get ready for the next call, the national call. I do suggest that people listen into that. Because it's just, this is going to give you kind of the ABC, what to do, ABC, do this Monday, do this Tuesday. And then I'm not sure if Brian actually does have a guest on his call or not, but whether he does or not, they're top-notch people. And that's more of the motivation. That's the big vision type call. So it really sets you up perfectly for the week. So I'm getting lots of thumbs up here. So I am going to go through and pull up some of the old calls that I'm going to intermittently put on a Sunday night. I'm still going to do live, and I'm still looking for constantly looking for people who want to be my victim. So please step up, and you'll have the best week you've had in your business. I promise you. I've not had one person who's done this before, not have the best week that they've had. So, and it's also, everyone's nervous when they first do it. But after the first 5 minutes, the week becomes a lot of fun. So with that being said, we've got 4 minutes till the next call. If you guys liked this format and felt that it was useful, please, just give me a quick thumbs up. The more thumbs up that I get, then I know that I'm doing the right thing. So that'll be great. But guys, thanks very much for getting on the call. Make sure, again, you have your written list, your top 10 names, 2 invites a day, 1 accountability call. If you haven't got an accountability buddy, that's it, accountability buddy. Get one, cross-line, upline, or whatever, just someone who's going to be there on the end of the phone to be sitting and waiting for you to say, hey, I made my call. So make sure you get that done. So, yeah, all right, let me give you the national call again. The number is 712-770-4160. Again, 712-770-4160. 968, and the pin is 968248. The pin again is 968248. I've got thumbs up from Deb Edwards. Great to see you on the call. I can see Kev's on there as well. Congratulations, Kev, for the event that you won the other day. That's great. Thank you, Shelley, for the feedback. Frank, last week's victim, Frank Schindler, is saying yes, he enjoyed the call, like the format. Dana Hetta, thank you. Dana, your call will be up here again at some point as well. That was a great call we did with you. And Dee, as always, thanks very much for the feedback. Guys, we've got 3 minutes. You've got time to make yourself a nice cup of tea before you listen to Brian talk about the business. And guys, thank you very much. And I appreciate your patience for letting me trying this new format. It was kind of forced on me because, as I say, my current victim was unable to do it. Perfectly valid reasons as to why. But I think this actually kind of works. And I'm really pleased that I've recorded all of these because it's kind of really relevant, some really good stuff on there. So, guys, have a great Sunday. Make sure you have structure in your business for the week. Otherwise, you won't do what you need to do. And I will see those of you who like the EC Riders team call. I'll see you guys on Wednesday night. And, of course, I'll see you all again next Sunday. And, again, don't forget to look at the Facebook page to listen in to the accountability calls that I did with Beth Monday through Friday. Guys, have a great Sunday night. I really appreciate you guys all being on the call. Again, the numbers are still growing on this call. Spread the word to your team. I'm sitting here doing the training for you, so makes your job a little bit easier. But again, we've got 2 minutes to get on the call. Time for a quick cup of tea. All right, my lovelies, and I will see you all very soon. I'm going to undo the line if I can find the board here so you can say good night. And here we go. I'm going to unmute you guys right now. Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Always a great call, Richard.
As always, thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Hope there's a replay.
Of course,
you,
it'll be on
Richard.
Facebook.
Thank
Love
you,
the
Richard.
call.
Thank you, Richard.
Is there only girls on the call tonight? It's just been...
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
It's girls with a big.
Thank you, Richard.
Ah, there's a guy. Unless it's a girl with a deep voice.
No, it wasn't.
All right, guys, I'm going to hang up the line. Thank you very much.